What are the most incredible things that exist on our planet? Have you ever wondered what's most surprising and fascinating about nature? There are phenomena so rare and beautiful that they seem magical, but they are real and can be observed in some places in the world. Get ready, because today you'll be shocked by the wonders that our planet offers us. And believe me, these are extraordinary phenomena that almost no one knows about. Imagine looking at the sky and seeing a rainbow, but without the proper shape and with more intense and vibrant colors. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But this is real, and it's called a rainbow of fire. This rare optical phenomenon occurs when sunlight falls on ice crystals in tall, thin clouds called cirrus. The light is reflected by the crystals and forms a spectacle of colors that resembles a rainbow, but without the circular outline. This phenomenon is also known as a circumhorizontal arc and can be seen at mid-latitudes during summertime. You have to be lucky to see a fire rainbow, as it only lasts a few minutes and depends on atmospheric conditions. If you saw a red waterfall oozing from a white glacier, you'd think it's a horror movie. But don't be alarmed, as this is just a natural phenomenon called a blood waterfall. It's located on Taylor Glacier in the McMurdo Dry Valleys region of Antarctica and has an intense red color that contrasts with the white of the snow. The explanation for this phenomenon is that the water flowing from the waterfall is rich in oxidized iron from a subglacial lake that has existed for millions of years on the ice. The iron reacts with oxygen in the air and forms a reddish crust on the surface of the water, appearing like blood. The blood waterfall was discovered in 1911 by Australian explorer Griffith Taylor and still intrigues scientists to this day. Have you ever seen a pink lake? No, we're not talking about a lake filled with flamingos or reflections from the sun. We're talking about a lake whose water is actually pink. This lake exists and is called Lake Hillier. It's located on Middle Island in Western Australia and has a peculiar characteristic. Its water is pink. This color is caused by the presence of algae and halophilic bacteria, which produce red pigments in response to the high salinity. Lake Hillier retains its pink color throughout the year. It was discovered in 1802 by British explorer Matthew Flinders and is surrounded by a band of white sand and dense forest. The contrast between the lake's pink, the ocean's blue, and the red of the vegetation is striking. Imagine you're in a very cold place where the night is long and dark. Suddenly, you see something amazing in the sky, a dance of colorful lights moving and changing shape. They can be green, blue, purple, red, or even multicolored. You're hypnotized by this natural spectacle, which seems magical and mysterious. What are these lights? Where do they come from? How do they form? These are questions that many people ask themselves when they witness this phenomenon. The answer is that they're caused by electrified particles coming from the sun that interact with the Earth's magnetic field. When these particles enter the atmosphere, they collide with oxygen and nitrogen atoms which emit light in different colors. This phenomenon, known as the aurora borealis, is more common in regions near the poles where the magnetic field is more intense. It also varies depending on solar activity, which can increase or decrease the amount of particles reaching Earth. In Indonesia, there is a fiery volcano that looks like something out of a science fiction movie. It's the only place in the world where you can see blue flames coming out of the crater, which light up the night with an eerie glow. These flames are produced by the burning of a gas called sulfur, which is abundant in this volcano. The volcano also has a lake filled with sulfuric acid, which is one of the most corrosive substances that exists. This lake has an emerald green color and a temperature of about 50 degrees Celsius. It's so acidic that it can dissolve metals and rocks. Known as Aegean, this place is a popular tourist attraction for the more adventurous who want to witness this rare and impressive phenomenon up close. It's also a site of forced labor for local miners who risk their lives to dig up the solidified sulfur and sell it. It's a grueling and dangerous task, but one that provides sustenance for many families. Clouds that look like flying saucers in the sky. Have you ever seen one? Well, they're quite rare and only form under specific wind and humidity conditions. They're shaped like a lens or a flame and remain stationary as if floating over mountains. The clouds are so unusual that they're sometimes mistaken for unidentified flying objects, the famous UFOs. But don't worry, they're not aliens or dangerous. They're just a beautiful and intriguing natural phenomenon. In fact, these clouds are lens or plate shaped and can be white, grey or colored. They form when humid air encounters a mountain or hill and is forced to rise and fall in waves. When the air rises, it cools down and condenses, forming the cloud. When it descends, it warms up and evaporates, dispelling the cloud. They can also remain stationary in the same spot for hours or days, creating a striking and mysterious landscape. This phenomenon is known as a lenticular cloud. Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing light pillars that look like flashlight beams shooting from the sky toward the ground. They come in varied colors. Some beams are white, some blue, others yellow, and some are even red. This optical phenomenon happens when light bounces off ice crystals present in the Earth's atmosphere. It could be the sunlight, moonlight, or artificial sources like laser beams or spotlights. These light pillars can be seen in very cold regions, especially during winter when there are a lot of ice crystals in the air. They're rare and short-lived, making them difficult to photograph. The phenomenon of bioluminescence is a natural wonder that can be seen in certain parts of the world. These are living organisms that can produce their own light. Yes, they exist and are found all over the planet. This light can come in different colors like blue, green, red, or yellow and serves various purposes such as luring prey, fending off predators, and communication or camouflage. One of the most famous instances of bioluminescence is the firefly, which flashes its light on the back of its body to attract mates. Another example is plankton, which are microscopic organisms that live in water and glow when disturbed. They can create a spectacular display on sea waves, beaches, or rivers that appear illuminated by thousands of stars. Located in Tanzania, there is a lake that seems to have been pulled straight from a horror movie. Its waters are blood red and its shores are littered with carcasses of animals that ventured there. What makes this lake both incredibly terrifying and fascinating? The answer lies in its chemistry. The lake has a high concentration of salt and soda ash. This mixture results in the lake having a very high pH. In addition, it can burn the skin and eyes of anyone who comes into contact with it. Another thing it can also do is simply turn animals to stone. However, amazingly, this lake is home to some species that have adapted to these extreme conditions, such as flamingos, fish, and insects. They're able to survive thanks to special protection and regulation mechanisms. Imagine walking into a cave and being faced with a glowing-in-the-dark natural light show. It's part of a cave system that formed about 30 million years ago when huge blocks of limestone were pulled out of the sea by volcanic eruptions. This is what you can see at Walterman Cave in New Zealand. There live thousands of tiny insects that have the power to emit a blue-colored light. They're a species unique to the country. They use this light to attract and capture other insects which serve as their food. Walterman Cave is an amazing place where you can view bioluminescence in action. It's part of a complex of 3 caves that were formed more than 30 million years ago by the erosion of water and wind. Each one has its own beauty and characteristic, but the most renowned and impressive one is that which houses glowworms. So, which of these unique phenomena did you find most impressive? Have you ever seen any of them in person? Thanks for sticking around to the end. See you in the next video.